Welcome everyone.
Wait, I will say 3, 2, 1. Still loading. Um, got a problem with the VPN. Hang on a sec. Okay, go ahead, Sharif.
Welcome everyone. Today we have our another new episode. We have our world famous professor, Professor Adrian David. He is Professor Emeritus from China. Uh, right now, he is working with Nanjing University, and he has a lot of contribution in research and innovation. Recently, he find that there is a lot of questions and issue about Tesla stock. So he bring his knowledge for the Tesla stocks, and especially he like a polymath. He has variety of knowledge in science, technology, innovations, and especially for this stock market. So, Professor, what's going on with the Tesla stock?
Yeah, great to see you again, Dr. Sharif. So a lot has happened. A lot has happened last couple of days. So let me just bring up the chart and I can talk you through. Um, Actually, it's quite incredible. You can see um, in the stock market chart or almost immediately reacting to the news. I'm very uh, I'm very surprised how efficient is the US stock market to process any news almost immediately. So anyway, right now we're about 173. Last time when we left, we were about at 180, 182. And so actually, if people were following us and shorting the Tesla stock, already they would have made a lot of money. But let me just show you. Um, you can see here there was a very sharp drop here, right? And that was so today is Tuesday, and this was yesterday, Monday. So you can see the gray part is the pre-market. All right. So it was about 182.52 when it opened. And then it sharply dropped to 179.55 and then kept going down and down to about 178. So what happened there? Well, China released the Chinese authorities released the number of car registrations in April, and Tesla went down 19%. That's nearly 20% in 1 month, and it was a massive drop in the number of sales of cars in China. And remember, we were saying last week how Elon Musk did this famous flying to China for one day on a Sunday, and he was saying all this great news, and then the stock market went up on the Monday, and it was all just lies, all just full of lies. And now we're seeing that the truth is coming out. So the number of cars which were sold in China, which is the biggest market for Tesla, went down nearly 20%. And it's not all electric vehicles because the now biggest electric vehicle manufacturer, which is BYD, which is a Chinese company, went up about 45%. So people can't say that, oh yeah, all the electric vehicles sales went down. No, it was just a problem with Tesla. So that was the bad news. Went down, went up again. Because you know what I was saying, Dr. Sharif, is Elon Musk has millions of fans. They love him. Elon Musk has millions of fans. They think he's a god, right? So they thought this was a good chance to buy the stock, and it went up. But in the end, Wall Street always wins. That's the saying that I have. In the end, Wall Street always wins. So another thing that happened around this time here is two more bad news. One is that, we said last week Elon Musk went to China and he said that, oh yeah, they're going to release fully self-driving cars in China. But then Dow Jones news report came out saying that actually this is not true. They just got approved to test the self-driving cars in China. And also they said they made a partnership with the Chinese company Baidu, which is a mapping company. But then the report came out that said a person in Baidu said there wasn't any new deal. So that news came out on Monday as well. So two more bad news. This also shows, again, Elon Musk was flying to China on a Sunday. He made up all this rubbish and all this rubbish news announcement. The stock went up 10%. Actually, he's cheating all his investors, right? By saying all these lies and cheating. But so with these two bad news, third one was he sent his number two, Tom Zhu, he sent him back to China. Why did Elon Musk do that? We don't know, but it's bad news because why would you send your number two man to China? Obviously, it means they've got problems in China, which is the biggest market. So with all this bad news, Tesla went down and down and down, finished the day about 177. Now, last night, the stock still kept going down and it finished about 176.5. And then today, stock market opened at 4 a.m. New York time, was going down again. And look here, 8 a.m. This is why it's quite amazing. The stock market is, you can read the stock market and it's amazing how quickly the stock market can react, right? So what happened here? It went from 174 to 170 in a few minutes. So what happened is, you can't believe this, Dr. Sharif, but Reuters made an exclusive report that Tesla is being investigated. I think we talked about it's being investigated by the National Transportation Agency in USA because this autopilot does not work properly, and it's making, and a lot of people are having accidents, and quite a lot of people are dying from the autopilot software. So we knew the National Transportation Agency was investigating Tesla, but at 8 o'clock a.m., you can see here this massive drop. This news came out from Reuters that not only is Tesla being investigated by the Transportation Agency, but also it's being investigated by the Department of Justice and also the SEC, the Securities Commission, on securities and wire fraud. Now, this is a big deal, Dr. Sharif. If you're prosecuted on wire fraud in USA, you can go to jail for 20, 30 years, right? Elon Musk could be in jail from this. So let me just read this. US prosecutors examining whether Tesla committed securities and wire fraud in a criminal probe of self-driving claims, Reuters reported. Investigators are exploring whether Tesla committed wire fraud, which involves deception in interstate communication by misleading consumers about its driver assistance system, the sources said. they're also examining whether Tesla committed securities fraud by deceiving investors, two of the sources said. This is in Reuters. Now, why is this big news? Like I said, if you are prosecuted for wire fraud, you can go to jail for 20 years, 30 years. So basically, as we said last week, and I predicted this, and it came out to be true. So Tesla released their product called Autopilot, and if you release a product called Autopilot, people expect the car can drive by itself, right, automatically, but it's could cause a lot of deaths, a lot of accidents, because it's nowhere near automatic. So there's a scale of 1 to 5 of self-driving cars, and Autopilot is only at level 2, which means it cannot drive itself. The driver needs to, it just helps the driver to drive, right? And by Tesla and Elon Musk saying this is an autopilot, they're saying this is wire fraud, and also Securities Commission is investigating whether this is misleading investors, right? Because people are saying, oh, they've got Autopilot, then this is an amazing stock, we should buy it. So the stock crashed. It went to about 170, and then it dropped to about 170.61. It's going up a bit now. Like I said, even with the worst news in the world, Dr. Sharif, Elon Musk has millions of fans, right? And they're literally, they think he's a god. They believe all his lies, and so they buy, right? So you can see the stock market, the stock price is going up a little bit again, but it's only 10 o'clock, 10:23 in USA. So we'll see what happens the rest of the day. If you look at yesterday, the stock price went up a bit because, all of Elon Musk fans bought the stock, but then it went down and down and down and down and down. I think the same will happen today because it's so bad news. I mean, if you're investigated by wire fraud, that's a really serious thing.
Yeah, excellent. Professor, what do you think? What do you think about the future of Tesla?
Well, if Elon Musk is really prosecuted on wire fraud and found guilty, he will go to jail for a long time, right? And I think if Elon Musk goes to jail, the stock price will crash to 90% crash. It will go to like $10 or something like that. Basically, Tesla will go bankrupt.
Okay.
It's a very serious investigation if you're investigated for wire fraud, right? It's one of the worst investigations you can have. And Elon Musk can lie. He can fly to China, visit the Premier League, and say, we're going to have autopilot in China. He can lie all he wants, but if he's taken to court, you can't lie in court. If you lie in court, you'll get into even more trouble. You get sent to jail even longer, right? So Elon Musk can't keep lying if he gets taken to court.
Okay. So what do you think? What should the investor do right now?
Well, if investors listened to us last week, Tesla was about $200, right? Because Tesla, because Elon Musk flew to China and he made this grand announcement that they're going to have automatic driving in China. It was all rubbish. Last week I told you it was all rubbish, all lies. If investors shorted the stock last week at $200, they've already made a lot of money. It's at 173.56 now. So they've already made money. But I think as we keep doing this podcast, my prediction is Tesla will go down to 140, maybe 120. If Elon Musk is prosecuted by the Justice Department, the stock will crash to 90%. It will go to like $10. So there's a lot of money to be made if you short the stock.
Okay. Okay, okay. So, what's your closing remark? This is very interesting session. So, hopefully tomorrow we will discuss with more interesting aspects. What's your closing remarks?
Well, my closing remarks is the Tesla. There's so much bad news about Tesla. Now he's got the Department of Justice, National Transportation Board, Securities Commission. They're all investigating him about the lies that he made about self-driving cars. He's promised self-driving cars for about 10 years. It's just he just says these lies. I think the lesson to learn here is you can lie to the investors, retail investors, only so much, but eventually, as they say, the birds will come home to roost. You can only lie so much, and eventually the birds will come home to roost. But this is very interesting because Elon Musk has built up a status like a god, right? So people will believe anything he says, and that's very interesting. How did he get millions of fans around the world? How did that happen? That's very interesting. I think that's something we should study. How can we get 1 million fans or 2 million fans around the world like Elon Musk? And is it because Elon Musk just simply lies and says anything that people want to hear, or is it because of he's really good at technology? Or I don't know. We have to investigate. We have to think about that. It's more a philosophical problem. But he has millions of fans, and in some ways it's a bit like Donald Trump, because Donald Trump now is in court. He's in New York. He's in Manhattan. He's been taken to court, but he still has millions of fans, including me, by the way. But I think the difference between Donald Trump and Elon Musk is killing people with his product. With his he's saying the car is self-driving, but it's actually killing people. And that's the difference between him and Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump is trying to do good things for America.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for today's session. I request all of our audience, please share our content as much as possible. Thank you, bye-bye, and take care.